Hi guys, welcome to Oliveboard. My name is Lakshmi and in this session we'll be talking about India Employment Report 2024. This report is presented by ILO, International Labour Organization. That's why the report is very much authentic. You can quote the report's data in your descriptive writing as well as your essay writing. Also, the questions from here can come in your phase 1 and your phase 2 objective part. So let's begin and see what is there in this report. Before moving ahead, I would like to tell you, for the PDF of this very session, you can go on the Oliveboard's app and on the YouTube classes PDF section, you can download the respective PDFs. So let's move ahead and see certain static facts about the report. So this report is by the name India Employment Report 2024. This report specifically focuses on your India, youth, education, employment and the skills. So let's see who published this. So this is jointly published by International Labour Organization and Institute of Human Development. It is released by V. Anant Nageshwaran, who is a Chief Economic Advisor of India. Apart from that, where have the data come from? The data for this report has been derived from two sources. One is your National Sample Survey and the Periodic Labour Force Survey. So these were the sources from which the report gathered the data. And the data has been gathered for the year 2000 to 2022. So in these 22 years, let's see what happened in the employment sector. So let's see what are the key findings. So the first key finding was India's youth accounts for almost 83% of the unemployed workforce in India. That shows that it is hurting India's youth. What does this India's youth means? India's youth, if I talk about, it is youth who are in the age group of 15 to 29 years. These people, out of them, 83% who are looking for a job, they remain unemployed. You can remember this and also quote it if at all some essay or some descriptive answer comes regarding the unemployment in the job market with respect to your India. Next is your employment and underemployment. It increased briefly for 2000 to 2019, but after COVID-19, the employment also declined, and so is the case with underemployment. Now you might be thinking, what is underemployment? So underemployment is when people work less than their full-time potential. They might be better skilled, but they are not able to find the job which is utilizing their skill according to the skill sets that they have, or they might be underpaid. They are not paid enough. So in any case scenario, this can lead to underemployment. And that is what is seen, that employment and underemployment, both the things increased between 2000 to 2019, but when the COVID hit, both declined. So that means employment in India is getting declined. That means more and more unemployment will be there around. Next thing. So percentage of educated youngsters with secondary or higher education is in the total unemployed has almost doubled. So that means people who are educated, who have higher education qualification, they are not able to find apt jobs. Why do you think there is this demand and supply mismatch? So there is this demand and supply mismatch. For this, report gave some of the reasons, like the education sectors. The problem is that there is higher dropout rates after the secondary education, especially among the poor section of society, and also they lack the quality of education that they are getting. Because of both of these reasons, the skilling remains a big concern. If I talk about skilling, they have also quoted some data which shows that 75% of youth are unable to attach the to send emails with an attachment. They do not know how to attach any document with the email. So that is showing a grim picture of our education system. how can at this age when we are so much tech savvy, how can you not have an idea about attaching an email? We are talking about machine learning, we are talking about AI, and this is very basic. 90% of Indian youths, they were not able to put a mathematical formula in the spreadsheet. 60% of youth were unable to copy and paste the files. They were not even able to copy Control plus P, Control plus V, Control plus C, nothing. They were not able to do that as well. So that shows that even if the education is provided, the skill becomes lacking, and that is why demand and supply mismatch has been seen, and also so much unemployment. Next thing that the report found out was labor force participation rate, worker population ratio, and unemployment rate. Before moving ahead, I would like to define all of these. Labor force participation rate is nothing but labor force upon working age population. That means 15 years to 59 years. This is what we consider as working age population in India. So how much is the labor force in the total working age population? How many people are searching for job? So if the people who are searching for job, they are not able to get job, we say they are unemployed. That also means that when we calculate unemployment rate, in the numerator you will be having number of unemployed persons. कितने लोग unemployed हैं upon the labor force. Remember this, यहाँ total population नहीं होना चाहिए. There is a catch. Even a objective question can come where you can get confused if at all you are not thorough with the definition of unemployment rate. In the unemployment rate, in the denominator, it comes your labor force and not total population. So labor force means those who are either employed or unemployed. So they might be seeking some kind of a job at the prevalent wage rate. So that's what is your unemployment rate. Lastly, what is this worker population ratio? Then worker population ratio is the number of employed people in the total population. So that is how we calculate a population ratio, or if we multiply it by 100, then worker population in the term of percentage. So that's the definition of LFPR, your worker population ratio, and your unemployment rate. Now let's move ahead and see what were the highlights of the report. So the report said that all of these things, that means labor force participation rate, it declined consistently from 2000 to 2018. See this figure. In the men section, the employment blues were being seen. The labor participation for various sections increased slightly in the year 2002. But if you compare this with 2000, you will see that still there is a dip. Similar is the case with women. Though आपको लगेगा that last year that is 2019 से 2022 में women की labor force participation बढ़ी है, but if you consider with 2000, labor force participation is still less. Same is the case with rural area as well as your urban areas. So that means COVID के बाद revival तो हुआ है, but अगर हम 2000 से compare करें तो शायद उस level पे revival नहीं हुआ है. That is what the report suggested. Now let's see what it said about India's job story as a whole. So it said that in India specifically, the employment grew in the agriculture sector. That is a very big paradox, because this is what not we wanted. Agriculture has a problem of disguised unemployment. I hope you all know that. And that's why we didn't wanted this agriculture employment to grow. But at the same time, we saw a decrease in the non-farm employment, particularly in the manufacturing sector. Non-farm means activities that are not related to your agriculture and allied activities. Out of the manufacturing sector, if at all somebody was employed in that, then construction and services sectors absorbed the maximum amount of non-farm employment. So even if there were non-farm employment, they were maximum involved in the construction or service sector activity. Specifically, if I talk about construction, this specific industry has a lot of contractual things. So people who are employed in this are maximum contractual laborers. And that is where the problem of social security, wage security, job security comes into play. They do not have, neither they have social security, neither they have wage security, and neither they have job security. Next, let's discuss about the employment thing. So we have seen certainly that the maximum employment is there in the self-employed segment in India. If you see, maximum people are employed in the self-employed. So that means it's good, entrepreneurship, that is what it sees. Regular or casual employment is still less, but definitely self-employment is more. One more thing that you have to keep in mind is nearly 82% of the workforce engages in the informal sector. That means India's maximum economy lies in the informal sector, and when they are in this very segment, government is not able to reach out to them. Government will not be able to provide social sector benefits because government has no control over them. Next thing is regular employment saw an increase, a slight increase you can say. Regular employment definitely saw an increase. You can just see that we have seen an increase in the regular employment, but that was not very much, not that substantial. A large proportion of population in the working age, and India is expected to have a potential demographic dividend zone for at least another decade. That means India has a very good demographic dividend. हमारी जो young population है, youth, for the next very decade as well, India will be young, but after that, certainly India's population will start aging. So these years are very crucial for India. So we have to provide them apt employment opportunity so that they can take care of themselves in their old age as well as of the nation as well. क्योंकि एक नेशन के लिए उसके सिटीजन्स बहुत ज़रूरी होते हैं. अगर ये डेमोग्राफिक डिविडेंड का बेनिफिट हम रीप नहीं कर पाएंगे, दे विल बिकम डेमोग्राफिक डिजास्टर. नेक्स्ट थिंग, वेजेस. अगर मैं वेजेस के बारे में बात करूं, वेजेस हैव लार्जली रिमेन्ड सेम और डिक्लाइंड. रियल वेजेस एक्चुअली ग्रो नहीं हुई हैं. आपको लग रहा होगा आपकी सैलरी बढ़ी है 10%. व्हाट अबाउट द इन्फ्लेशन? Inflation is killing. Food sector inflation is on the rise, and certainly the real wages have not increased that much. Wages for self-employed individuals show a negative trend. They are not able to have that kind of wage or profit. So that is what it shows. Large percentage of unskilled casual workers failed to achieve even the mandated wages, that is minimum wages. Even if after having a minimum wages act, they are not being provided with the minimum wages. That is what the report highlighted. There is a rise in contractualization. Too many contractual jobs. Only a small percentage out of them, out of the regular workers, are covered by long-term contracts. Shorter contracts, gig economy is on the thrive, and that too, the wages which are given to them, it's not apt. It's not according to the Minimum Wages Act that is there. Next thing. Urbanization and migration. Let's see what is, what does the report says about urbanization as well as migration. If I tell you urbanization and migration is very, very much there in your RBI syllabus as well as your Nabard syllabus, go and check it out. It says that the rates will substantially increase. कितना increase? Migration rate around 40% increase होगा by 2030. That means urban cities will be more crowded. That also highlight अर्बन सेंटर्स को और डेवलप होने की ज़रूरत है, सिटीज़ को और रेजिलिएंट होने की ज़रूरत है. एट द सेम टाइम इट ऑल्सो हाईलाइट्स कि हमें अपने रूरल एरियाज़ को डेवलप करना पड़ेगा, अदरवाइज अर्बन सेंटर विल बिकम ओवर क्राउडेड, एंड दैट्स नॉट व्हाट वी आर लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू. We must have economic opportunities at the rural centers so that these people are not migrating. Next thing, there is widening of the gender gap. What does that mean? It highlights that women with higher education, they are not able to get employment. They face challenges getting employed. So that shows the widening gender gap that is prevalent in the market. Lastly, growing social inequalities. That typically highlights that though Indian government has various programs which are related to these vulnerable populations, which are there for SCs, STs, but still when they are looking forward for some job opportunities, they are facing social discrimination. Again, this topic can be, linked to your topic that is given in your syllabus regarding your social justice. Next thing, widespread livelihood insecurities is there, and only a small percentage being covered with social protection measures. That means whatever the government is doing, government is not able to target the majority. Only a smaller section of society is getting benefited by all these social security schemes. And that too, if we say the organized, precisely in the non-agriculture sector, organized sector. So, only these are being getting benefited, and you can say that certainly livelihood insecurities are being rising. People are insecure, they might not land up in a job. So, that is the insecurity that is there. So, guys, before moving ahead and discussing the report's highlights for any further, these are the SEBI Grade A demo classes schedule. Accordingly, there are live sessions that are having live or recorded sessions that are there on the channel itself. You can just go and watch it one by one. Believe me, these are worth it and very good. Apart from that, if at all you like the way or you want to qualify RBI in this very attempt, or if you feel that you will not be able to prepare it all by yourself, you might need some help, definitely there is a crash course for RBI Grade B that is going on. You can enroll yourself in that. Nevertheless, if you have seen the previous year questions, you might have noticed one trend. After every highlights or after asking anything, RBI's question maximum case, if they are about any report, they asks what the report has suggested. So typically, report has highlighted 5 key policy areas which have to be, on which action needs to be taken. So what are these 5 key policy areas? We should promote job creation, entrepreneurship. More job creation has to be promoted by various policy measures. We should improve the employment quality. Underemployment should not be there because that leads to unsatisfaction. Next thing, addressing the labor market inequalities. If there is a demand supply gap, if there is a skill mismatch, that has to be met. Strengthening the skills and active labor market policies. Again, skills have to be looked after, and there must be active labor market policies. That means after our Minimum Wages Act, Social Security Code, that has to be further strengthened. Bridging the knowledge deficits. If at all people are not aware about certain things, if at all employer is not available about some certain things, if they are not if they do not know about certain government social security benefits, they must know it, and that is what the bridging the knowledge deficits says. Then one more suggestion which was given by our Chief Economic Advisor V. Ananth Nageshwaran, the one who released the report. He said that it is not correct to think that for every social or economic problem, there needs to be a government intervention. That means industries should come in, private sector participation. This is what he also highlighted. Certainly, government cannot provide jobs, one-on-one jobs to so big population. That is where government's, industry role comes into play. Lastly, when we have read so much, let's also discuss about some static portion of Institute of Human Development, the one who released the report jointly by ILO. So it was established in 1998 under Indian Society of Labour Economics. The main reason of its establishment was to build a society that is inclusive in terms of social, economic and political systems, so that we are free from poverty as well as deprivations. It undertakes research on various segments like your labor, your employment, your livelihood, gender, health, multiple things it takes into consideration while researching. Next is your ILO. Who is the Director General? He is Gilbert Hornbo, and then headquartered at Geneva, Switzerland, established in 1919 after the World War ended via a treaty, which is Treaty of Versailles. So that is how you can remember it. It brings together government, employers and workers. So government of any country, Employers as well as workers are made to sit on a table and then discuss policies. So this is what was the major mandate of ILO. In this, 187 member states are there. This is the only United Nations agency which look after this tripartite structure. This tripartite structure means a structure that looks after the government, employers and the workers all at once. The aim is to promote rights to work, to encourage decent employment opportunities, to enhance social protection, to strengthen dialogue on the work-related issues. Lastly, since we have read so much about employment, this is the homework question for you. I feel this will help you not only in revising whatever we have listened in the class, but it will also help you in having a good knowledge about the topic of this, regarding this report. You will be able to memorize it well. So I will just suggest you, after you have listened to the lecture, try to write down the answer. That is, discuss the key findings and challenges that are highlighted in the report, and also analyze the measures suggested by the report. So that's how I want you to write an answer for 600 words for 15 marks. I hope that's good enough. You will be able to write it and you will also submit it to me so that I can also check it. I can see that if you were able to understand whatever I have taught you or not. अगर सेशन पसंद आए तो लाइक ज़रूर कर देना और चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर देना. और अगर कोर्स खरीदना हो, then I have already told you, you can call the support team. They will surely be helping you out. Thank you and have a nice day.